Welcome back to the backtracking extravaganza with post-commentary from Future Gallup. You might just like jump right into this if you have both videos available to you, but just in case you don't watch them like back to back, I'll kind of repeat myself a little bit. I was just talking about how the year is 2016, right? This is how, Nintendo burned so much goodwill with their fans, with their Metroid fans for a while. The year is 2016. Metroid Fusion came out 14 years ago. And that was the last game in the series chronologically. They released some other games after that, but chronologically they all happened before Metroid Fusion. They haven't advanced the Metroid story for 14 years. And even then, Metroid Prime 3 was the last kind of good or well-received Metroid game, and that came out at that point 10 years ago. Even the last official Metroid game, period, even if it wasn't met with a very good reaction, other M, was 6 whole years ago at this point. AM2R, the fan remake of Metroid 2, finally releases, and then just immediately Nintendo's lawyers pull it down, when they haven't been doing anything with the IP for 6 years. Then, after pulling that down, Metroid Federation Force is released. That's the thing they do after sitting on the IP for 6 years and pulling down a really good fan remake, is they release some weird spin-off game where you don't even play as Samus. So that pissed a lot of people off. And I feel like that partially had that also kind of factored into how this remake, Samus Returns, got overlooked. Because people were just pissed at Nintendo at that point. And would probably have rather just play the fan remake out of spite. And when all this happened, Nintendo hadn't even announced any sort of official remake of their own yet anyway. It was another year after all that, first of all, the Switch came out, so the 3DS was practically dead at that point, because the Switch is already out, and it is a hybrid console. It's the next home console and the next handheld. And it's at this point that Samus Returns is announced, and then a few months after its announcement, it's released. It's just really unfortunate time, and it's released as a 3DS game when the Switch is out, and this is a year after the fan remake was pulled, and all that goodwill with the fans was lost. It's just really unfortunate timing. And I know it was a thing, it was a sentiment I kept seeing around when Metroid Dread was gonna come out soon, that people were excited, but also saying kind of cautiously I hope it's good. And I feel like that partially stems from the amount of people that did not play Samus Returns, because this game's good, but it did get overlooked. And so I feel a lot of people were kind of going off of the idea of the last, kind of just the last game that came out was Other M. The last games that came out were Other M and Federation Force. But no, this game came out, and the same, developers worked on Dread that worked on this, which is going to be very apparent when you see how much they have in common with each other. Yeah, it just sucks when this game came out and all the stuff that led up to it. It's really unfortunate. I hope that the darkest times for this franchise are behind us. One can only hope. Though I still feel, even with a couple really good games having come out, I'm still kind of feeling the impact to things with, I'll talk more about this later, but I do feel that Other M being met as poorly as it was maybe influencing the way Nintendo approaches things in some ways. But yeah, I'll talk about that another time. One thing I wanted to talk about was, I don't know if I mentioned a lot about, I don't remember how much I mentioned about who made this in Dread, because I know, talking to friends and stuff, I've talked a lot about this game being developed by Mercury Steam, but I talked about it in a way as if kind of like, rather than by Nintendo, like, as if they kind of mostly outsourced it, but that's kind of false. It's not... Basically, like, saying it's developed by Mercury Steam is half correct, because it was a joint venture between Mercury Steam and, which I had a note here somewhere. Nintendo EPD. I forget what that was short for, but it's basically the major division. It's the largest division of Nintendo that are responsible for, like, the big first-party titles. They were working on this and Dread, and Mercury Steam collaborated with them. So it was a cooperative effort. But the way this came about is interesting, because I just read about this recently, and I thought it would make an interesting note to an interesting bit of trivia I could do while I'm trying to fill airtime. So, in 2015, let's see. Oh, I don't know. Okay, the way I put it in my note is that Nintendo Life reported that Mercury Steam, in 2015, Mercury Steam actually worked on a Metroid prototype for the Wii U and a Nintendo 3DS, which was later turned down and possibly retrofitted into a different project, and that might be this, I guess. But it was later revealed that Mercury Steam had pitched for a remake of Metroid Fusion, and that was rejected. The pitch they had for Metroid Fusion remake was rejected, but series creator Yoshio Sakamoto was so impressed by their pitch and the team's love of Metroid that they went and hired Mercury Steam to collaborate on this game, Metroid Samus Returns, instead. And then that's what led to them again collaborating on Metroid Dread. And I think that's really cool. It's like Mercury Steam came forward and were like, hey, check out this pitch we've got. We love Metroid so much. We think it would be cool to do a remake of Metroid Fusion, and here's like this like prototype we've got for it. And then, you know, those in charge were like, no, we're not doing that. But we love what you did, and we would like you to collaborate with us on what we actually do want to do next. I think that's kind of cool. Mercury Steam has done a few things before this, although I think kind of like the most noteworthy thing that you might recognize them for would be they did the work on the Castlevania Lords of Shadow games, the 3D reimaginings of Castlevania, including the 2D one, Mirror of Fate or whatever it was. Yeah, those 3 games, that was all Mercury Steam. And while I'm talking about developers of stuff, I've been bringing up AM2R a lot, of course, which makes sense, because this game that we're playing is itself a remake of Metroid 2. If you're curious about the developer of AM2R, he went on to, I originally had a note here written that is actually incorrect, but if you've heard of Ori and the Blind Forest, that game is also kind of like a Metroidvania type of game that I need to get around to playing because it looks cool. Probably not too soon, because like I said, I've been playing a lot of Metroid, so I kind of just want to play other things. But the next Metroid type of game I play after all this will probably be Ori and the Blind Forest. But the developer of AM2R got hired on by that team. From my understanding, not for the first game, but from what I could tell for the sequel, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, from what I could tell, it looked like that game had just 2 level designers, and one of them is the guy who made AM2R, so that's pretty cool that, you know, he put all that work into AM2R, and it was basically so good that Nintendo said, this can't exist, it's competing with our products, and they freaking pulled it down. But then the guy gets hired on to go work on another game that's very much within that kind of gameplay style. I think that's fantastic. That's really cool. It always makes me happy to hear stuff like that. Even if he hadn't gotten kind of like screwed over by putting all that work into the game, I mean, I guess it's debatable how much you want to say he got screwed over, because the game still exists. It's kind of inevitable once something gets released on the internet. At least Nintendo didn't step in and stop him while it was in development. They only stopped him after it had already been released. So at that point, it's just kind of like, whatever. The game, at least it got finished and was able to be released to people, and people can still find it if they really want to. But, yeah, I'm glad he got to move on to projects he can be, that can leave a less sour taste in one's mouth, because he gets to be recognized for this product that's, like, official and is not going to get taken down. I'm really happy for that. And, though I would be happy for him even if all of that hadn't happened. I mean, because it's also just always cool to, like, to see someone get their start doing something fan project related, and then they go on to do something that's just kind of their own, all their own. And, that's always cool to see. One of the most, like, prominent examples, I guess, right now would be, like, the success Toby Fox has had is a case of that, because he got his start doing, like, ROM hacks of doing a ROM hack of Earthbound, and then, oh, there's also, the developer of Freedom Planet. I think, as far as I'm aware, they got their start, like, doing Sonic ROM hacking and stuff, so, yeah, it's always cool when you can see that kind of thing. Fans, being really passionate and making fan works, and being able to just go and do their own thing with the skill they built up. That's always cool to see. Now, I'm kind of running out at this point of topics, so I may even, worst case, maybe I'll actually, like, pause the recording and try to come up with a couple things, I don't know. But, I do have one note here. I wrote down a note to say reasons for doing this LP, and I don't know if, did I not get into this anywhere else? I don't know. I feel like I probably already kind of mentioned it at some point, but regardless, well, I may not have mentioned, so I think in some way I primarily wanted to do Dread. There's actually a friend I wanted to do that for. Like, there was a part of me that wanted to record Dread, but there's a friend that I thought it would be cool to do it for reasons, and that it's not the sole reason that I'm doing these LPs, not by any stretch of the imagination, but it probably was the last push I needed to go ahead and go do it. Like, it's not the only reason I wanted to do these games, but maybe I don't know, maybe I would not have done it right now if not for that. But also just generally, I did want to, I really enjoyed this and Dread, and I did have some things to say about them, and kind of wanted to say things about them on a video. I just thought it would be neat to do, and with this game in particular, like, I didn't want to just jump into Dread by itself, you know, because jumping into the last game in the series without me having done videos of any of the other ones is a little weird, and I'm still skipping a lot by just doing this one and then that, but at least this way I figured I'd be showing off, in a gameplay mechanics kind of sense, kind of the origins of some of the stuff in Dread. Like, you can see where it got some of the things that Dread brings to the table. Some of those things came from here, so I get to show that off for people who weren't really aware of that, because I've already seen a a couple people who haven't seen this game before. Like, at least I've definitely, there's been a couple people I've been talking to who, like, because they got to see me playing some of this, it's like they weren't, I could tell they weren't aware of how much Dread actually borrowed from this game. So I think it was kind of cool to see that. So that makes me happy. I like being able to show that. Yeah, that is definitely that is one of the big parts of why I want to do this one too. Is because of, like, I did know, I've mentioned it many times how I feel this game got overlooked, and I went into the reasons kind of why that happened. And it's a shame because this game's good. So I do really like the idea that a few people who just kind of passed it over and didn't really get to see it maybe discover it a bit because of these videos. But yeah, that pretty much covers, I think that pretty much covers everything I wanted to talk about, unfortunately. I did have one last note here. Basically, like, going to how I've been. The only thing I really want to say here is that I'm doing okay. Yeah, just don't worry about it. I'm doing fine. Yeah, I'm dealing with things okay. Any more than that, you've got nothing to worry about. I'll be fine. I think going into anything more than that is actually something I would, if I'm gonna bother going into it, I'd rather go into it in a different video, because, like, I want to keep things a little light here. Keep it focused more on the game and not just have like anything too heavy or personal brought into something that I want these videos to stand on their own rather than be like a follow-up to a random, almost kind of vlog-like video or something. It's like, yeah. But I'm doing fine. Yeah. So other than that, I guess I may hit pause here and see if I can come up with anything else to talk about to fill the air for the last, like, I don't know how much is here, maybe like, yeah, there's a decent chunk of video left still, so, one sec. Oh, actually, I just had an idea after hitting stop recording. Rather than go looking for something, I could go into real quick, just whatever, like, basically I was thinking, like, I could go into what I've been playing lately, which is not a lot, because it's only been, not that long since, it hasn't been that long since I recorded this video. It has been like a week or two, I think, but, and I haven't even recorded Dread yet, so I haven't been going off and playing too much else, but, there's a couple things I could mention. I haven't played it, but I did pick up, because I saw a streamer playing, Mario Party Superstars, I think is the one with, like, the classic minigames and boards and, like good online play and all that. Basically the one that comes across like a love letter to the old games, and maybe kind of nostalgia bait, trying to cash in on that in some regards, but I was watching a group of, like, streamers play it, and it does look actually pretty well done, and I could feel memories coming back to me, which, to be honest, I don't know how much I ever really got to play Mario Party multiplayer back in the day. I probably played it by myself more than I played it with other people. Yeah, I'm one of those guys. But it's not like I never got to play a multiplayer. There were some occasions, just not a huge number. I probably played it myself a lot more than I played it multiplayer, but it's not like I never ever got to. But even still, I had a lot of fun with some of the older Mario parties back in the day, and I could feel those memories coming back a bit when, so the nostalgia bait was working on me, is basically what I'm telling you. Yeah, Superstars look pretty good, and to me, so I wanted to pick it up, and I haven't played it yet. I don't know how soon I will, honestly, but I picked that up so I can play it when I want to. And since it's got the online play, maybe I'll even, like, get the chance to play it with some people or something. Who knows? But, yeah, that looks good. I picked that up. One thing I played a little bit of recently was Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. I've never played any of the Monkey Ball games. Oh, comment... Well, just to get back to, like, actually commenting on the video on screen real quick. The last few areas, the item percentage we were going for was 100%, but the goal in this area, according to my notes, is 95.7. Yeah, because there's that one item that we can't get here. I may have even passed by it while I wasn't really paying a lot of attention. But yeah, 95.7 is what we're going for here. As I was saying, though, I've never played any of the Monkey Ball games, and I've meant to try them out. They looked a little fun to me, and I've even, like, I've played something like them by way of Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Had like that marble kind of maze thing where you like rotated the. Basically, it was kind of similar in concept to Monkey Ball. Not 100% the same, and certainly more simplistic, but there is a similarity there. And I remember actually doing that whole thing in Twilight Princess and I remember actually really liking that. So I figured I would probably really like Monkey Ball then. I tried out Banana Mania. There's a funny reason why I tried that out for the record too, which I'll get into as another thing to fill air in a moment, but I was enjoying it. I found myself going back and forth between I ended up buying the DLC pack of the classic soundtracks because I wanted to hear them, and then I found myself going back and forth between the remake music and the classic music, and I don't think it was a case necessarily where I only liked the classic music or only liked the other one. It's actually kind of just nice for me, having no nostalgia for the series, to hear both. I think, though, I think I did have a slight preference for the classic soundtracks more often than the other one, but I still like both. It's honestly kind of nice to just, like, go through half a world with the remake music and then go through another half with the classic track or something, do something like that. So I was doing that. I got up to that stage in which world is that in? Is it like the 4th or the 5th one? Dang, I forgot what it was called, but it's kind of awful. I got to this stage where, like, I was enjoying it enough, although, like, dang, that game seems to have a really high, like, skill ceiling, because at first I kind of tried to go for 100% completion sort of thing, like try and get all the bananas and basically just that, try and get all the bananas and then maybe even try to beat the stage. Nah, I didn't really try too much on the like time trial thing of beating it in under 15 seconds. But I was finding that even just like trying to collect all the bananas was too much for me. Not too far into the game. Like, I did it on a couple of the stages, but not too far in, I was finding that to be too challenging for me. And, like, maybe one day I will get better at the game if I keep playing it, but, man, game seems really hard to me. But so I moved to just start playing through it casually. Like, not worrying about how long I take, not worrying about trying to get all the bananas, just trying to clear the stage. And at that point, the game doesn't seem too hard anymore, and that feels like more probably the ideal way for me to be playing it as a first-time player, and I can always try to challenge myself to other things later if I feel that's something I'm up to. But even just for trying to... Whoops. Frickin' fan. Even just for trying to just clear the stages, just get through them. I reached this one stage with these, like, panels sliding across the ground that, like, you have to position yourself in front of the panel, and then it sends you flying forward, and you like kind of roll into this like really tall tower, and you start like going up it, and you go way into the air, and if you're really lucky, I guess, like on your way up, you would pass through the goal ring, but if not, then you have to try and position yourself to fall through the goal ring, falling back down, and I kind of hate the physics in that stage. I was playing it for a little while, and then finally I just like, I don't know if I got too tired, or if it was that there was something I had to go do, like maybe a group recording time came up or something. But I just put the game down, and I haven't gone back to it yet. I probably do want to go back to it and finish it, and I've since looked up that, like, that stage appears to be one that is generally frustrating for a lot of people, so that makes me feel a little bit better that it's not just, like, me being bad completely, and, like, a lot of people have trouble with that stage. But, man, yeah, I hope there's nothing... I hope that's the only stage that features that gimmick, and that nothing else is quite as obnoxious as that. But the reason, oddly enough, funnily enough, that I was playing Monkey Ball was this promotion I saw. I picked it up on PS4, and I saw this promotion that Sony was doing for PS4 and 5 players. It's called Seize the Throne, and I think the day that I'm recording this commentary, though I think maybe not when this gets uploaded. Let me, actually, how is that going to line up? Let me see. Oh yeah, no, because this is the second part, so... No, wait, actually... Okay, I think... the day that you're listening to this... Okay, well, I'll get to that. Okay, so the first part of the Seize the Throne promotion is this thing. It's like... So the way they did it, they organized it into 3 stages. I think talking about this is a good way to fill some time. They organized it into 3 stages, and each stage is just a new point threshold. The points are earned cooperatively by everyone playing on PS4 or 5, but not like everyone who has a PS4 or 5, it's specifically the people who went online and signed up for this with their PSN account. If you signed up for it, then during the promotion period, for each stage of the game, if you play every individual game that you play for at least an hour, gave you so many. Like I didn't write any of this down, so I don't know how many points, but it gave you some points. So like I played Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania for at least an hour, so that gave me some points. And if I went and played like Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory for an hour, that would give me some more points. And if I went and played the HD collection for an hour, that would give me more points. And when we reach like stage 2, I could go play each of those games again for an hour and get points again, because it's a new stage. Aside from just playing as many different games as you can for at least an hour each, you can earn trophies and use the share play function to like share screenshots to your feed, to like social media or to a friend. And there's limits to those. It was like 6 shares per day will get you points. Each one will get you points until you've done 6, and then no more points until the next day. And the first 6 trophies you earn in a given day will also earn you points. And you do earn more points for like gold and silver trophies and platinum and all that, compared to like bronze. The more, like, yeah, the better the trophy, the more points you earn. And I know I definitely saw some people salty about this, because like, the real hardcore, like, and I get why, because like the hardcore trophy hunter type of people would probably be the people more inclined to notice this type of promotion going on and want to join it in the first place. And then it's just like, well, guess you can't earn points for all those trophies you probably already hunted before. So that does suck, I get that. But yeah, that was actually why I was playing Super Monkey Ball, because I signed up for that and I figured I'd contribute a little bit to it. So everyone who signed up for it is earning points, and there's this global tracker. And the problem with it, I have some issues with the way they did this. First of all, there is the, I actually got very discouraged partially by this, and also just like there's other things I wanted to spend my time on, so I actually only participated the one day. And, you know, maybe I'll go and do a little bit more before it's over, although it doesn't seem like there's even really a point. We'll get to that. I mean, like, I'll tell you why I was, like, discouraged. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention it with this area, but, I mentioned the last area was 95.7. This area, we are aiming for 100%. So my problems with it, aside from, like, the problems the trophy hunters had, where it's like, well, can't earn points for all the trophies we've already, you know, earned. The problem I have with it is that they seem to have severely overestimated their player base in terms of who was going to sign up for this and how hard they were going to go earning points. Because I was paying attention to the tracker, and the tracker wasn't updating as often as I would like to, weirdly enough. Like, it was supposed to update daily, and it was not updating daily for whatever reason. Like, sometimes I'd come back to it 2 or 3 days later, and it still hadn't updated. And it's not just like no 100 points or something like that. It's just like it did say when was the last time it had updated, and it just hadn't done it for whatever reason. Maybe like the update was, maybe it was not fully automated. Maybe there was some manual aspect to it for some reason or something, and like they even got discouraged too, the same way I got discouraged. I got discouraged because after, I think, like, a day or two, maybe like 2 days into it, I looked at how many points had been earned so far and how many points were required for each of the respective stages, and I did some math, and I came to the conclusion that the first stage would be cleared. I think that will probably get done, and the rewards, by the way, for all this is just some like PSN avatars and PS4 themes. So like nothing too crazy. It's definitely a for the fun of it type of thing more than anything. You're definitely not gonna get people coming to it for the prizes. You're gonna get people doing it who want to do it for the fun of it or for the glory or whatever. But yeah, it became evident to me that unless things changed, we were going to clear stage 1, and I haven't checked to see if that has been cleared yet. But there's no way, at the rate things are going, that we're gonna clear stage 2 or 3. They way overshot how many points we could possibly earn. There's just no way. I think stage 2 required 4 times, like, I think the point where we clear stage 1, we'd only be a quarter of the way to clearing stage 2, and that's just not gonna happen. So yeah, I think they really, whoever organized this really overestimated and kind of harmed the whole thing. But it's not just that. That's part of my problem with it. My other problem is the way they structured it. They did this weird BS where it's like, for how many points they're asking of the community, they're not even involving the whole PlayStation community. It's just whoever happened to actually be aware of this thing in the first place, and I almost wasn't aware of it. And I think most of my friends were not aware of it. And it's like, yeah, you had to be aware of it in the first place and sign up for it before it started. Otherwise, all the points you earn would be earning don't get earned. It's just like anything you play doesn't matter for the promotion. And I think that's dumb for how high the point requirements are. I think they should have just... Well, okay, first of all, I think they should have let people opt in at any time. The way it's set up is that if you didn't sign up before stage 1, you can sign up, but you won't earn any points until stage 2 starts. And then same for, like, if you sign up in the midst of Stage 2, you can't actually earn any points until Stage 3 begins. That's dumb as crap, and I think that they should have just let anyone sign up at any point. But that could have helped, and I think that would probably be maybe the best way to do it. That in combination with like actually properly estimating your audience size, or your player base rather. But the other way you could alleviate things... So, my estimation is that maybe they based their point requirements on a, like... They have tools to see how much people play games on their consoles and everything, and how many trophies are earned and whatever. I can't help but feel that they based their point requirements on the info they were getting from those tools and everything. And they didn't account for the idea that maybe not a lot of people would sign up for the promotion. I feel like they should have just taken the info they have and then designed things based on the entire player base of like all the PS4 and 5 owners just participating, and like not had a manual opt-in, just have everyone's system automatically be opted in. Just have people playing games count. Don't have them have to manually go sign up for the thing. Just automatically opt in everyone. There's no harm in it. There's no personal information collected. It's not like you're giving something up. You could just be totally unaware of the fact that you're even participating, and it would be in no way harmful to you. They really should have just let everyone be participating automatically. But barring that, I would at least say that they should have let anyone opt in at any time. I guess I was done here. Whoops, I guess that's all I really had to say about it anyway. So, I got all the items, so next time I can actually go and, go to the final area and just, yeah, continue on with the rest of the game. Get to my favorite area, finish up. I'll see you next time for that, and, till then, take care.